Howdy doody, my name is Susie, and today I thought I would share with you how to make clotted cream. And if you've never had it before, you're in for a delicious surprise. It is absolutely scrumptious and extremely decadent. It's very easy to make, but it does take a little bit of time. It's made with 35% whipping cream. You're going to heat it for 12 hours in the oven at a temperature of 170 degrees. We're going to cool it down to room temperature, pop it in the fridge for 12 hours, and the following morning we're going to have the most delicious clotted cream that you have maybe ever tasted. Now, clotted cream is actually the process of you're warming up the cream and it's rising to the surface. It's going to create a crust on the top, which is very toasty, nutty, buttery flavor. And you're going to have a solid layer of this cream. There is going to be some whey left over, which we can use to make our scones. And you end up with this extremely rich and very flavorful cream that is going to be anywhere between 55% and 65% fat, as opposed to the whipping cream we're starting off with, which is at 35%. So it's a condensed, delicious cream that you can use on scones with fruit or any other dishes. But I'm actually going to use it the traditional way. The English like to have an afternoon snack, and they call it cream tea, where they have tea, scones, they have the clotted cream, and also jam. So clotted cream is also known as Devonshire cream or Cornish cream or scalded cream. Now, the clotted cream has a long history in Devonshire and Cornwall. It is suggested that it was introduced by the Phoenicians some 2,000 years ago. And the clotted cream, some feel that the origins of it was something that was created by farmers as a means of preserving the additional raw unpasteurized milk that they had by using this method of heating it up and hence extending the life of the cream. Cream is similar to another type of cream called kamjak, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is found in the Middle East, in Afghanistan, Turkey, Iran, India, and Southeast Europe. There is also another cream which is called urum or apem, produced in Mongolia. And these creams are used with different types of milk. In Mongolia, I believe they use goat's milk, cow's milk, yak milk, so a variety of different milks using the same technique to create this very, very rich cream. Rhoda's is the largest producer of clotted cream in England, so the British love their clotted cream, as does the Queen. So we are going to make this for ourselves. We're going to have a similar experience. It should also be noted that in 1998, the Cornish clotted cream was registered as a protective designation of origin by European Union law. And that specific cream has to follow certain guidelines. The milk must come from Cornwall, and the fat content must be a minimum of 55%, but I've read that most commonly it's at 64%. So it gives you an indication of how rich this cream is, but it's definitely worth making it and using it sparingly. Now, the first time I had clotted cream was actually in Bermuda, and I would indulge in HighTea at the Hamilton Princess, where they served scones, the clotted cream, jellies, jams. They served it on silver trays, china, linen cloths, and they made you feel like a real princess. Also, we had the piano player in the background playing classical music, so it was a really beautiful experience. So I'm having my dear friend Mark come to tea. I haven't seen her for more than 2 years because we've all been locked down, and I want to recreate that Hamilton Princess experience for her, and that's why I'm making my own clotted cream. So the first thing that we're going to be using is 35% whipping cream. We're going to need a pan that's 8 by 8, and you want a very shallow, wide pan, because the greater the surface that you're exposing to the oven, the more of that delicious, toasty, buttery crust you're going to actually get. This is a 8x8 pan, and you just want to fill it with heavy whipping cream. You want to fill it about an inch, half an inch to an inch deep. We're going to have to add a little bit more. And we're going to let it sit for 12 hours. So it's at 170 degrees. And the cream is on the middle rack. Now we have to wait 12 hours. Ooh, look at that. It smells so buttery and creamy. And now we're going to let it sit for about an hour until it cools before we put it in the fridge. Until it comes back down to room temperature, and then we're going to put it in the fridge for another 12 hours. Now that it's completely cooled, just cover it and put it in the fridge for 12 hours. So this is going in the fridge overnight. We'll see you in the morning. So I'm actually making, and a good tip is, I'm making the clotted cream at 9 o'clock in the morning because I want to be able to watch my oven on during the day as opposed to during the night. So I put my clotted cream on at 9 a.m. and at 9 o'clock at night I take it out of the oven, let it sit for an hour, and just before I go to bed at 10 o'clock I can pop it in the fridge, and the next morning I have my clotted cream ready. So if you want to eat this the morning after, you got to start the morning before. Cream has been sitting in the fridge overnight and I'm ready to pull it out. Wow, that looks fantastic. Ooh. Let me give you an overview. Now it's really firmed up, and I can see it's really firmed up on the top with the cream. And if I'm just to lean it slightly forward, all that weight underneath slips over to the side. So here we have it, the crust. It has solidified. This is fat after all, so cooling it down is making it very firm, but look at the liquid that is running from the side. So now we want to simply lift the cream off of the way, and I'm just going to turn it over. Look at that. Whoa, that is fantastic. And here is all the whey, which we're going to gently pour out, but I'm going to remove the fat first. Gently pour out the whey and keep it to the side because we're going to use it to make some scones. Ways to strain this, and I think I'm just going to, while it's in the pan, so I'm going to just strain most of this liquid out while it's in the pan and it's kind of holding on to the sides. Whoops. So look at that. So we started with, it's 473 milliliters of cream, and we have about 3/4 of a cup of that is our whey. And like I said, you're gonna keep this because it's delicious and we're gonna use it to bake our scones. And I used a small measurement. I know that there are other recipes and some people may feel that why go through all the effort to make such a small amount, but when I'm using a new recipe and I don't know how it's going to turn out, I rather make a smaller batch to see if I like it, if it works, before I go ahead and waste a lot of the ingredients. Coupled with the fact that this is very, very rich, and I don't think I need any more than this. This will keep in the fridge for approximately 7 days. So like I said, some people like the crust and will just dispense this cream into a little pot like this, crust and all, so you get those bits of fat and crunchiness, whereas other people blend it all together with a beater in order to get a very thin and fine consistency. But I think I'm going to go with the rustic, and I'm just going to put it in without mixing it up. I'm gonna break up the crust so I don't get big, huge piece. I think it might make for a more interesting texture. So I haven't actually calculated what percentage of fat is in our clotted cream, but I think I could probably do the math because I know how much of the whey that's left over. But I'm gonna guess that our clotted cream is going to meet the Cornish European Union bylaws of meeting a minimum of 55% cream, considering we started with 35% cream. So now we have our scone, our jam, and our clotted cream. And we're just going to, now the debate is whether or not to add the cream first and then the jam, or to add the jam first and then the cream. And those are two debates that Devon and Cornwall have been debating, I'm assuming, for a very long time. But I think that if we just add our clotted cream to one side and our jam to the other, when you put them together, you can have it both ways. Cream on the bottom, jam on the top, or jam on the bottom and cream on the top. Let's give it a try. Unbelievable. And I'm gonna grab a little piece of that skin. Words cannot express how utterly delicious this is. Words cannot express. I'm speechless. It is so delicious. If you can imagine a cream that's 55% fat. It tastes sweet from the cream, so there's a condensed flavor of the cream that is very sweet, but it also has a really buttery, toasty, nutty flavor. If you've never had it, you have to try it. So as you can see, we're getting more than likely a full cup of, or a 250 ml jar of the clotted cream. Mark is going to absolutely love this. I don't know who wouldn't, unless you're not a fan of cream. And I've got my whey left over so I can make my homemade scones fresh that morning to have with our tea. According to Darren McGrady, who is a former chef of the Queen, she loves her tea time with her scones, jam, and clotted cream. So if the Queen likes it, I want to taste it too. If you try this recipe, which I hope you do, I think you're going to love it. And if you do, I hope you share it. If you'd like to see more content, please subscribe.